Who was he building them for?
Hmm?
Who was he building them for?
Bella and Kristen.
Oh, so Bella will be back inside.
Guess so. Well, she's sick. She's never gonna admit it. She's probably gonna say it's got something to do with something else in the world.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's sick. She's sneezing and coughing all morning.
What, Bella was?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
All morning. This morning. That's what sleeping outside with nothing on gets you, though. I also think it's funny that he's making her a bed and look at what she sleeps on every night over there.
Yeah.
Like, let's be for real for 5 seconds. The woman has more cushion over there than anybody has in the house on that little thing right there.
So is the deal from now on that she just completely cooks her own food?
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm concerned that like the next step of this, like now that she's gotten her own groceries, but the next step is going to be like, I don't know. I just know the next step is going to be somehow trying to rope you into cooking for her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, because it's going to be like, I'm sick because I don't know how to, I don't know.
But I'm not going to.
I don't know.
You know, like,
That sucks.
That's what happens when you forcefully alienate yourself. You know, it would have been one thing had her approach been different to the whole situation, but it wasn't. It was just a very demanding, forceful aspect, you know, like.
Well, it's hard. I mean, when you have the example of Amanda right there, where Amanda, like, it just takes care of herself, you know,
right.
And has it, like, was just very clear about it, but didn't, like, alienate herself, didn't make a huge
fuss about it or anything like that. And that's what I was telling her, you know, before the whole thing went down. That was literally the first thing that I said to her countless times was, well, why don't you be smart like Amanda? Mm-hmm. Amanda feels like the food isn't going to work for her because of what it is, and she's pregnant, and she's right. Yeah. So what she does is she doesn't ask for more food or less food. She takes her portion of the food and she makes whatever she wants to make out of it. Yeah. Why don't you do the same? Her concern isn't that it's not just being enough. Mm-hmm. Her concern is what it's being made with.
Yeah.
And how much of it is.
Yeah.
It's like, don't you think everybody wants to eat more?
Yeah.
Last week we made $4.88, and then the week after that we only made $900-something at Utopia Experience. Like, let's be for real. Like, we don't have much money.
Yeah.
I would love to cook so much food that there's enough for people to go through the line 3 times.
Of course.
But it's just not that much. And then she argued with me about control. And I said, well, if I don't, somebody's gonna go up there and eat a gang load of stuff.
That's the thing, is we saw what happened when like portions weren't controlled, you know.
Somebody doesn't eat.
But it's not like super rigid. Like you're always like, you know, make people aware when there's extra or anything like that. You know, it's.
You know what she doesn't understand is, she tried to call me out and said that I eat more than everybody and I'm a food hog. And I wanted to tell her twice, like, yo, you're never in the kitchen when I'm serving food, but if you didn't know, 9 times out of 10 I don't eat what you eat because it's not enough. And that's part of my job. I accept that. Like Taylor will tell you in a heartbeat because he sees it and it sucks and he always tries to get me to do it. When I make the food, I try to make it so the portion sizes are big enough for you guys to eat and not complain and it be kind of full. And oftentimes I end up without something. Yeah. Protein, vegetable, starch, something. I end up without it completely. And I don't complain. I don't say I don't have enough. And like, I know that I eat more than Bella in the outside world. I know I eat more than a lot of people. But I don't complain. Like, I know the situation.
Yeah.
It feels like I'm working with a kid with her sometimes because she just complains like a little kid, you know. I want more. I want more. Blows my mind.
Just like so tired of food still being a topic of conversation. Like
me and
that's
Mike
what
just said that.
Mind is like 8 weeks in and it's still not just a topic of conversation, but like it's a fight still. Just
constantly.
Like, what the hell?
Some people are like, okay, you know. Some people are at the point now where they're like, all right, the food has gotten 10 million times better.
Exactly. Gotta have some perspective.
The portions have grown astronomically. In the case that at one point in time we were getting like a biscuit.
Exactly.
And a spoon of gravy.
Exactly, and a spoon of potatoes.
And a spoon of eggs.
Yeah.
Now, It's plenty,
Yeah.
but it's just not enough.
And it's just like, in comparison to the most of the world, like we're eating like freaking kings.
Like, let's be for real for 5 seconds.
Let's actually think about what's actually necessary for your body.
I think the reason why I haven't been able to talk to her, because I really do feel not even betrayed. I feel like an idiot.
You feel like the wool was pulled over your eyes.
Completely.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just the wool was pulled over my eyes, it was used to kill me. Like, it was one thing to tell me that, you know, the doctor said that your food was unhealthy for you and, you know, blase, blase. It's a whole nother thing to also blame me for that. You know, like, you put the blame on me and you kept saying, well, this isn't a witch hunt for Aaron, but the food that he's cooking isn't healthy enough and blah, blah. It's like, you're trying to say that no offense, but you're hurting me. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm sorry for stabbing you, but I'm stabbing you.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. And then to find out that you lied and that in fact wasn't the truth at all.
And
You know, that really pisses me off.
And also, like, removing yourself, but also still trying to, like, eat some of it.
Yeah.
Removing yourself, but then, like, you have to, like, make it known how hard it is to avoid the temptation to eat it. Like,
you don't do that. You don't do that. I mean, point blank period. And I've said this like 5 times. And it's been told to me even more times, but it's the truth. I've known it all my life. The job that I have is under sight by a lot of people because it's one of the most important jobs anybody could ever have. It's cooking food for people. Yeah. Why? Because what I do is the energy source.
Yeah.
It's what gets you going to do what it is your job is every day. Excuse me, every day. Yeah. In order for you to be able to do it, you gotta have some type of food in your system. Yeah. And if I'm not doing it, 15 people inside of one kitchen at one time trying to eat, that creates so much division and so many problems. You see how it is now during lunch in that kitchen. Yeah. Imagine 15 people trying to get in there. Well, you used it first yesterday. You were here at that time. Come on, I got to do this. This is more important than that. Yeah. You know? And yet, you still complain and gripe. Yeah. It's like, come on. You're the oldest woman here currently.
That really blows my mind.
She's like, the oldest person in this place right now.
Oldest and like, but I like seriously has like the youngest mindset. I feel sometimes.
Sometimes.
I just don't know.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I can't deal with it. That's, you know, as unfortunate as it is, that is my basis behind voting for her. Like, it breaks up the sanity of the group. It really does. Like, I vote based off of productivity. And then after, if there's an issue there and it's not a clear, you know, vote, I go to who's hurting the group more. You know what I mean? Like, the situation with Red, I put everything on pros and cons. Whose pros are outweighing what cons, and then whose cons are outweighing their pros. And right now, the only person who has a con that's outweighing their pro is Bella. Yeah. You know, she's more harm than she is help in this place right now. She's a sweet woman. Yeah. You know, she really is very kind-hearted.
She has moments of like complete generosity and kindness and sweetness, you know.
She is. She's like that, but you just can't.
Like she's not stable. Like
she's not. It gets outweighed every time. It's like your generosity is completely outweighed and shadowed by, you know, the childish nature that you have, the fits that you throw. Yeah. The constant, and I mean constant back and forth. One day you're okay with this, the next day you're not.
Because that's the thing, is it feels like every single time she complains enough and we give something to her, like it's gonna be.
That's what happens.
That's what I'm trying to think of. Okay, so we finally given you money for food. Like, what's gonna be next? You know.
That's what happens. We give her something and then it's more. Oh, like you gave her the money for the food, and now she's like she needs more stuff.
Let me fix